Hello everyone and welcome to my new video. What is this video about? Well, about a month ago, I uploaded this piece to my Instagram, which I made in Jitter, and quite a few people seem to enjoy it. And so I thought that I would try and recreate it from memory because I probably deleted this patch because that's what I do. I'm just a madman. I make these things and then I just abandon them straight away for no reason and then kind of regret it. So I thought that I would try and rebuild it. It's not really particularly that exciting in terms of what the geometry is doing. I was really more exploring lighting and camera movement and stuff like that, because that's generally what my Instagram is. It's just me posting public bookmarks so that if I run out of ideas, I can go back through it and go, oh yeah, I remember I did that. I'll go and revisit that. So I'm going to do that now. So let's close that. So what is this? What is it? How does it work? Right. First of all, let's unlock the patch. Let's turn the grid on. So I think it was jit.bfg with 3 planes, float 32. And I'll start with, let's go for 50 by 50 and 1. 50 on the x-axis, 50 on the y-axis, and 1 on the z-axis, I think. Let's bang that. Oh, and let's turn snap to grid on. I want snap to grid. Thank you. Right. Okay. Snap to the grid. So what that is doing is giving us a basis function of nothing, because I did not specify that. So let's say at basis noise dot distorted. Okay, there we go. So what we have is like a basis function graph. That's what jit.bfg is. A procedural basis function graph. And I'm going to use that to create an array of 3D shapes in space. So I've already created my jit.world, blah, 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 blah. You can do that however you want. So I'll keep that to one side for now. First, I'm going to make a pack offset 0, 0, 0. Connect that to my jit.bfg, and then I'm going to make a jit.time and connect that to the fourth. So what I've done now is I've created a message which is offset 0, 0, 0, and then this is counting. And then what that does is apply some, well, I don't know, it's counting along the third axis of this function graph, which is making this wibble about. So I'm going to use that as position coordinates for like an instancing thing with jit.gl.multiple. And I'm going to specify I want 2 params to control, and those GL params are position and scale. All right. So, okay. So for the scale, let's do the scale first. So we'll make a jit.matrix 3 planes, float 32. Let's say, well, I think it can just be 1. Let's try 1 and see if this works. And then I'm going to connect the render bang to that. Looks a little ugly. We'll make it do that. Okay. And then I'll make a message set all $1. And then I can use a float to set the size of all my spheres. Now, maybe let's move that over there. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit more. Right, so now we need to set the position. So I'm just going to plug the output of jit.bfg into the jit.gl.multiple, and then I'm going to make a jit.gl.grid shape at shape sphere. Plug that in there and nothing. So let's turn up the scale. All right. So this number box here is the scale for all of these spheres. So what I've done is I've created an array of spheres, and their position is being set by this function, this jit.bfg. Now, they are all over there. That's not really what I want at all. So I'm going to remap them. I'm going to use jit.map to map 0 to 1. Let's actually say, oh no, let's say at map. Yeah, 0 to 1. So that is the incoming range of numbers. And I'm going to remap those from -1 to 1. All right, so now my thing here is all in the center of my world. Good. And so if I make those a little bit bigger, then we'll just get this blob. If I make them really small, incredibly small, a very small number, like 0.07, then we've got some spheres wibbling around. Now this is going a little fast, I think, so I'll create a UI for the speed of my jit.time. Let's just say 0.2. Okay, now they're moving a little bit slower. That's very nice. Okay, and maybe I'll make a load mess rather than say 0.5. No, 0.05. Connect that to that. Oh, I'm already getting worried about space. Okay, let's put that there. And double click that. No, that's too big. Okay, let's say 0.005. Okay, so I'll make a little comment here, scale. And that's all fine. Now, if I want to, say, increase the distance of their position, I can simply do that by doing jit.multiply and we'll say @val1. But if I want to change that, I can simply plug a float into that inlet and then I'll have a thing here for, I don't know, position. Yeah, position. So if I increase that, then they're going to be more spread apart. Okay, that's all looking all right. So I've closed the Instagram. I can't remember. I've got no visual aid. I'll just have to use my memory. Let's just put that there, I think. Okay. So I don't need that anymore. Let's make a jit.gl.material and connect that to the multiple, I think. Okay, so we can't really see yet, but they've got a little bit of shading to them. What kind of color do I want them to be? Let's see here. GL color, where are we? Color, right. Well, obviously it's going to be salmon, isn't it? There we go. Okay, let's transform attributes to argument. Gosh, what's happened here? This is a very, very, very long list of stuff. I don't really want all of the lighting enabled. Okay, I'll leave that in. Okay. That's fine. All right. So now let's make a light. We'll make our light here. jit.gl.light at type point at position 0, 0, 0 at shadows 1. Okay, so now there is a light in the middle of our scene. And if it's not really making a huge amount of light, but okay, that's all fine for now. So now what? Now we need to move the camera. Actually, no. First, let's create the jit.gl.volume. Jit.gl.volume. Okay, that's just made a foggy square in the middle. So let's say at scale 10 at bounds 0. Okay, so now we've got some volumetric sort of foggy stuff. So if I move really close to it, then we'll see the spheres. If I move farther away, then they kind of go into the mist, which I think is perfect for this time of year. It's actually started snowing a little bit here in the south of England. Very nice. So, okay, we've got that now. You know what? That's bugging me. I'm going to get rid of all of that. And we can just have a attribute thing for our color here. And let's say salmon. We can also choose the color of the volumetric fog light stuff. So let's go here, GL color, and we could say maybe we want aqua. That's nice. Or orchid. Sky. That's quite nice. Okay. We can always make our cubes a bit bigger, for our spheres rather, a little bit bigger. Okay. All right. So now we need to do a little bit of post-process. Oh no, let's do the camera. Let's do jit.gl.camera. And I'm going to maybe give it a bit of a radical lens angle at lens angle, let's say 80. Okay. It's looking a little bit, let's just make this a bit bigger. So the lens angle is pretty good because it kind of increases sort of a little bit of depth. What's happened to my... Oh, it's because I've got a camera now. The handle bounds don't show. Okay, all right. So now I'm going to move the camera around like a complete madman. So for that, we'll start with pack, look at 0, 0, 0. And this is all really actually pretty straightforward. We'll do a jit.time.perlin, and I'll say at scale, I'll leave the scale as it is, but let's say at speed 0.05 and connect that to the X. So now that's kind of moving the camera left to right on the X axis. And let's take another one for the Y and another one for the Z. Okay, so now we've just got some sort of camera movement. It kind of looks like it's sort of blowing in the wind or something. I don't know. And then I'm just basically going to take a copy of this. This is all. Let's move this down here. I should just take a copy of this and change this to the position. So we can change the position of the camera as well. And maybe we might need to change the values. Let's see what happens to the... Oh, okay. So now we're really close. So let's increase the scale here. Let's say at scale 2 for each of these. Gosh, it's actually quite fast, isn't it? It's kind of giving me a headache. Sort of gone from looking like something blowing in the wind to being inside someone's intestines or something. Right, that's really fast. Let's slow this down a bit. 0.1 for this one, 0.1 for that one, and maybe I need to put the speed, and let's say at speed and jit.time to 0.1. Okay, that's looking a little bit more floaty and flurry-sherry. Okay, all right. Rotation now. We'll do the same for the rotation. So I'm just going to copy this. Actually, I'm not going to copy this. I'll just start from scratch. Let's go pack, rotate, XYZ 0, 0, 0. Make a jit.time.perlin at scale. Let's say 90. So that's going to randomly create Perlin noise between 90 and -90 with a speed of 0.01. And let's see what that's like on the... no. Okay, right. I don't want to put that on the camera. I'm going to put that on the actual final grid shape. So this, so basically what's happened is that I've created multiple instances of this grid shape. But if I send stuff into this grid shape like the color or the rotation, then it will rotate all of the instances at once. So let's connect the rotate XYZ to that. See how that looks like it's doing something. Yeah, it's kind of rotating around, swimming about, swirling, swirly, swirly, swirl. Okay, right. Let's take another one of those. Yeah, that's starting to look good now. Okay, and plug that into the Y rotation, and then a final one into the Z rotation. There we go. Now it's all starting to swim about and swirl and swoosh and woo. I'm just going to have a little drink. Lovely stuff. So let's make them a little bit smaller. Okay, let's maybe make them a little bit bigger. I don't know. About finding a sweet spot. Okay, so as the camera kind of moves away on the Z-axis, we'll get more and more fog. As we get closer, we get less fog. I still think this is all a little bit fast, so I'll change these to 0.1. I could create like an attribute for each of these so that you could change the speed as you like, but I kind of just want to bake everything in. Okay, that's looking all right. Okay, so now we need to move on to some post-processing. I'm not using any nodes or anything this time. This is all just rendering to the final render destination. So I can go ahead and just create a jit.gl.parse at effects name DOF, which is depth of field. And I can say at blur underscore width 1. Okay, that's already starting to look quite blurry. And I can't remember what the other things are called. I think it's focal range and distance. So let's say at focal underscore range 1 and at focal underscore distance 1 as well. Okay, so that's looking a little bit hyper realistically blurry. But as the spheres are further away, they look more blurry and out of focus. And as they closer, they look more in focus. That's very nice. Okay. What now? Some bloom. Okay, let's make a jit.gl.pass at effects name bloom dash HQ at threshold 0.5. And that is strobing, and that's not what we want. So if we take the middle outlet of the previous pass and connect it to the new pass, then they kind of process in series, which is very nice. Well, that's kind of it, really. That's the patch done. Didn't take as long as I thought. Yeah, maybe we could try the motion blur, although I'm still a little bit in the dark with the motion blur. Let's try it anyway. Jit.gl.pass at effects name motion blur and connect that. Oh yeah, it's already kind of made it look a bit strange, but let's turn the velocity scale down to something like 0.5. So maybe as it rotates, it's going to make a little bit of motion blur. I can't really tell. It's all so fast. So what I might just do is actually bin it off. Maybe we can... Where's the position of the Z axis? Let's actually increase the scale of the position of the Z axis to 3 and see if it kind of moves a bit further away from it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, it's kind of moving a little bit further away. Nice. Relaxing. Still happening a little bit fast. Let's maybe say the speed of the jit.time 0.5. There we go. That's a little bit better. So yeah, that's pretty much the patch, really. That didn't take long. 16 minutes. Very nice. We can make it much bigger if we want by just increasing the scale of the position. So the scale of the position and the scale of the shapes, that's a little confusing, but we can make the shapes bigger if we want, like this. And we can decrease the position so that they're like really close together like this, which is kind of looks kind of cool as well. Yeah, nice. Okay, I think what I might do is I might actually say that this has a value of 2 by default. And that can load bang at 0.5. Yeah, that all looks pretty good. I'll leave the colors in. Let's just say name this comment shape color. And then this can be volume color or fog color. It's sort of fog. It's not really volume color. You can, when you download this patch, you can do whatever you want with it. Everything else looks pretty good. You can play with different basis functions if you want. Noise distorted, I think, works quite well with this. Some of the others just sort of, you get this sort of stuff, which looks kind of cool, but wasn't really what I was going for, but you might like it. Simplex. Maybe if these were a little bigger. Yeah, that blur is working very nicely. That depth of field blur. Let's see, the ones that are close to the camera are a bit more in focus. There, like that. Yeah, that's nice. And some of these fractal ones work quite well or not. Probably because the camera's not focusing on them. Ooh, yeah. So we can... Yeah, no, that's not really... No, that don't really work as well. I like noise.distorted. It sort of looks like a particle system, but it ain't. It's just a sort of, it's just a math thing. Okay, there you go. That is how I made that patch on Instagram. Sort of an atmospheric 3D scene in Max. We could maybe just do something with the lighting, perhaps. We could do another thing like, well, we could have multiple lights. Let's do it with one. Let's do pack position 0, 0, 0. And this is really what most of my patches are. Is just jit.time.perlin controlling everything. Jit.time.perlin at scale 2 at speed. Let's say 0.01 again. And there. And then we can kind of move the light around inside the scene if we want to make more effects and more movement. And then maybe we could have 2 of them on the go at once by simply just duplicating that. Are they moving? Can we see? Let's have a look. Oh, it's quite relaxing. bloom is maybe a little high. So what I'll do is I will have a attribute for the threshold. So let's try a threshold of 0.75. Even 0.9. Yeah, that's okay. Put it back to 0.5. That'll do. Whoops. I've just zoomed out to oblivion. Right, okay. Let's get back here. Okay, I'm going to save this now. I'm going to save this and go and put it on my Patreon, where if you'd like to download it, you can by supporting me for a very modest price and get access to all kinds of other things. What am I going to call this? Atmospheric. I can't spell atmospheric. Atmospheric 3D scene. Yes, so I'm going to go and put this on my Patreon now, where if you're interested in this kind of stuff, you can support me and get access to a whole load of stuff to do with Ableton and MaxMSP. I'm going to try and do a Max video every week. I'm going to try, see how I get on. I spent a lot of time over the last couple of months tinkering in Max and storing up this little recent archive of ideas that could be fun to explore and share with you, the people. Right, that's it. Enjoy your atmospheric 3D swoosh. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. See you next time. Bye.